Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the Blue Box. Yeah, this is a show that we talk all things Chelsea. Yeah, and in this week, we just want to do a quick recap of how we have played in recent weeks. Yeah, the system under Liam Rosenior, and we are going to be focusing specifically on the formation and that new tweak. Like you all know, when I speak about the formation, you know what I'm talking about. That 2-2-6 formation. Let's just look at how this formation is gelling into themselves. Let's look at the combinations, the pairings that are happening in this formation, and we are speaking about the player connection, and then we go on to talk about some individual players, and I'll stick with two in this particular one, in the person of Andrey Santos. We look at the importance of this guy, and then we look at Enzo Fernandez, and we talk about the versatility of Enzo Fernandez. So those are the 3 points that we'll be talking about in this show, guys. It's a beautiful Tuesday. I just want to give a big shout out to you guys. I want to say thank you very much for sticking with us at Vertical Football. Like, if not you guys, we can't do this on our own. We just cannot do this on our own. So for you that are watching and you are not subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button and please share this video so that it can get to more people. Now let's jump right into today's discussion and let's go right into it. Let's talk about the 2-2-6 formation. When Liam Rosenior came into the club, we started with a 3-4-3 kind of system with a 3 at the back. Then you have the box, and then you have the box of 4, and then you have the 3 at the front. But we tend to find out like it was working in the sense that we could connect easily, we could form some triangles, we could make some zonal changes, somebody moving from this zone into the other zone, and nothing is changing, just the personnel. But we found out that when we play against teams that have the orientation to sit in a low block, it's kind of like hard for us to maintain that shape, because we are going to be having a whole lot of player in our own half, and then they are playing maybe, let's say, in a like 5-4. And if you are keeping your first line, if they are keeping their first line of 5, you have just 3 players there. Their second line of 4, you have just 2 players there, and then you have close to like 5 players on the other side of the pitch. So it does not really work well. It's something that did not really sync so well. So I think it tweaked the formation and it changed it into a 2-2-6, and that was very effective in the sense that we committed a whole lot of player up front, and we saw something like we have 3 number 10s. Unlike before where you had 2 number 10, now because you're having 6 players up there, you're going to have 1 number 10 on the left hand side, you're going to have 1 on the right hand side, and the actual number 10 in the center, and then you have 2 guys holding the flank. That's 5, and then the striker is up there. So we just that helps us, because you are definitely not going to always see a team go back into a 6. It's majorly a 5, and I think if teams are beginning to adopt this idea, maybe we will start to begin to see formations like 6-3-1. Yeah, or 6-2-2, where people will start putting 6 at the back because players are because the other team is committing 6 up front. But unfortunately, currently what we have is just 5 at the back, and with that 5, because you are committing 6 up front, you are going to be having a spearman, whether on the left hand side or on the right hand side, who is running into channel, who is either overlapping or underlapping, or one who is dropping deep to attract somebody. And in a 1v1, you can get the better of this one, and then you can create something. So it's just coming up with ways to tweak the whole thing to make sure you are getting the higher advantage of doing something up there. So I feel like that's the benefit of the 2-2-6 in the attacking sense. In the defensive sense, is that I think what we enjoy most at Chelsea is the personnel. In that personnel of Andrey Santos and Moises Caicedo. Though you have the 2 center back, it can be either Fofana and Chalobah, or Fofana and Badiashile, or Tosin and somebody. You just know those 2 center backs are there, and then you have 2 anchoring them, 2 guys who are like the protective screen of this guy. But those 2 guys, to me, I believe are I don't want to use the most important one, but let me just use it like that. And that does not mean I'm demeaning the other people's play or their role, but I'm just telling you, these 2 guys are so important because they are solid. You have Andrey Santos, who would stay, or who can stay, and Moises Caicedo, who is that guy who can roam about and make sure, okay, when they are getting a drop ball, I'm there winning those deals back. When the ball is coming in the upper ground, I'm going there to barge into the deals and do all of those kind of. Is like the guy who is picking the debts all around whenever he finds it. Okay, they are playing on this side. We are sitting in a 2-2. Oh, we have lost the ball there. Quickly jump into that place and cover, get the ball, send it back to these guys, and they start building very well again. So I think the defensive part with those personnel, Moises Caicedo and Andrey Santos, I think we are very, very solid. Now let's look at another part of that formation, which is speaking about the two phases of play. And I think I've said about it in one of my shows where I said the way Rosenior is playing is splitting the pitch into two phases of play. You have these guys on the defensive side. If you are looking at him maybe playing in a 3-2-5, we would say he's having this side as the build-up phase, and we're having this side as the offensive phase. So the idea of the way he wants to play is he wants to build up in this side and then punch the ball into the offensive side and allow these guys go and do something with the ball. So you are maybe sometimes we are going to stay in a 3-2 when they are not sitting that deep. When we are playing in a free-flowing football, we have our 3 and then you have the 2, the 3 center back maybe joined with the left back, or sometimes Cucurella can move, and then when we have somebody like Reece James playing, Reece James is the one who stays because you don't want him to be doing the up and down because of his fitness level. So we're just talking about the 3 at the back. Then you have the 3 at the back. You have the 2 anchor guys. So these guys are the one who just keeps playing the ball around. They just keep kicking the ball around within themselves. And when they find the opportunity or the right moment, they punch the ball from this side and boom, into the other side of the play. So we move from the build-up into the attacking part of the play, the offensive part of the play. And those guys there, when they get the ball in, the person like Cole Palmer, you find out that our attack under this guy is not slow anymore. This is the only part where you're going to be having Chelsea playing really slow on the build-up part, because we want to bait people into coming out because you're having a double pivot. So they will want to send numbers up front. So we want to like play a little bit slower here so that we can orchestrate those space, so that we can create those space out of passing, out of baiting, out of luring them out of their own space. So when we get that right chance, and most of the time the chances goes to Andrey Santos, he just finds that right space and time, or sometimes he might not even get the space. It might just be a very tiny one, but because his mind is ambitious, he just pumps it through those gaps or through those gates and just plays into this side of the pitch. And these people, when they get the ball, either it gets to Enzo Fernandez or it gets to Cole Palmer, when he gets the ball, his first instinct is to look for somebody who is either making a run or he carries the ball, because these guys have committed a whole lot of player up front and now he has space to like move forward. And that's talking about the two phases of play. And another advantage of we having the two phases of play is that we tend to create space, because this guy is now staying in 5 and this other guy is staying in 5. These ones are more compact. They stay in a 3-2. These guys are kind of like horizontal. They make the pitch stretch, but you have the 2 10s and the striker and 2 wingers. It can either be the fullback or the normal regular wingers. So when these guys get the ball, they try to expand the space in the sense that these 2 guys tend to like come closer to the defensive line so that they can attract these guys over to this side. And because if you want to follow what we are doing, that means you will be staying in a high line. And that's very dangerous, because when we drag you to one side of the pitch, we are bringing you close to our own our own defensive part of the play, and you are committing this player up front. We saw it against Leeds. They committed like 5 players up front. Cole Palmer and the likes did not come. Even João Pedro was staying behind their own line, but they wanted to play against what we were doing. So they started walking in a high line. They started coming really far up there. And because João Pedro is staying deep, he's staying high up in the pitch behind their own defensive line, they are kind of like cautious. So whenever we have dragged these people up here, Cole Palmer comes out, and when that pass from Andrey Santos can come through, when he gets the ball, one of their defensive person wants to like jump to mark Caicedo. To mark Cole Palmer. That means if you are staying in a 5 at the back, this guy who is jumping to come and mark Cole Palmer means he has opened that space. João Pedro comes into that space because Cole Palmer is very good on the ball. Sometimes he can manipulate that guy and just find that pass. And now João Pedro is onside because he has occupied the space that center back left alone. Or sometimes if Cole Palmer cannot manipulate, he just drops a bounce pass. The guy fakes away, then he collects his back and finds João Pedro. So it's just all about creating space. It's all about controlling the tempo from moving from a very slow build up then into a pump and very fast attack. So I think those are the good parts of this formation and of this system in which Liam Rosenior wants to play. But I think one issue that we have is still in the rest defense, in the sense that when the football is going normal as it's supposed to go, maybe we are leading and we are trying to get more goals, we kind of like have that solid base. But whenever we are maybe in a draw or we are losing the match and then we become very ambitious, I think it's a very big problem for us to keep a 2-2, in the sense that now we are losing, there is nothing to lose anymore. Then we are going to throw everything that we have at the opponent. We tend to like commit a whole lot of players up front. If they keep somebody hanging around maybe in the wide space, because you are using 2, you cannot keep a width. You need to make sure it's compact to protect the central channel. If they keep somebody in the width and you are committing a whole lot of players up front, when they get the ball, just one counter can do a whole lot of damage. And we saw that against Arsenal. But and another thing about that rest defense is Moises Caicedo always has to be there. Yes, it's very, very important for us. Moises Caicedo always has to be there because he is that butcher. He is that guy who can go into any tackle. He's that guy who, out of the other guys, Enzo, Fernandez, Andrey, Santos, and Moises Caicedo, he is still the best when it comes to tackle amongst these guys. So you must always have that guy he can lock in any 1v1 situation. During transition, is that guy who you can rely on. So I think those are one of the defects. The rest defense is solid when we are playing the ball. You have something like a 4. Sometimes it can be a 3-1. Sometimes it just makes sure they are 4. But that gives and the part is it gives freedom for the other guys, because these 4 guys are solid in the person of now we are putting Moises Caicedo, not taking him out of the context. Whenever he's there, Moises Caicedo and Andrey Santos with the 2 other backline, it gives freedom for for the fullbacks to push high up. It gives them freedom for the fullback. So if you have Cucurella and Gusto will invert in. Cucurella can either go and hold the width or make sure or try and do the underlapping run, or just move forward to form the second or the third 10 up there, or being that free guy who can be running in an underlapping run into the space to receive a pass. So because these guys are solid, those 4 at the back, the 2-2, it gives freedom for the other guy. Because when if they are playing on this side, the only thing is just to make sure the 2 is standing in their own straight line, but somebody like Andrey Santos come to the center, like in front of the 2 at the back, and allow Moises Caicedo shift down, so that when the ball gets loose here, it's something that he can jump into. And if it's happening on the left-hand side, Moises Caicedo stays in the center and Andrey Santos shifts up there, so that when the ball gets loose here, they can jump into it. So I think we have found a balance into it. It's just that when we are very, very ambitious, we need to be very cautious with that. So that's it about the tactics